Hello everybody, it's Glass Half Dead here, and today I'm going to be looking at the future of Kill Team by looking at Necrons. I'm going to be contrasting the old Necron datasheets to the new Necron datasheets from their codex in 9th edition, seeing just how much power creep is in there, and kind of trying to speculate a little bit about whether or not they're just going to screw Kill Team up and give us the new data sheets without changing any of the points, and how terrifying that is. Because of course, if you pay any attention to 40k 9th edition, you've seen that Marines are the new big scary thing, and I've said it myself, I'm terrified of them. And so me saying, oh, Marines are really powerful, isn't going to get across the fact that everything is more powerful in 9th edition. You've probably heard that Marines have moved to 2 wounds, but maybe that doesn't really sell to you just how much stronger they are. So instead, I'm going to look at the Necron datasheets, and we're going to see just how much stronger they've become. And spoiler, they have become significantly stronger. And the question here is really, what's that going to do to Kill Team if they just get ported over? Now, I also want to say 2 things here. This video originally began as me trying to kind of compare the new Recruit and Elite editions for 40k 9th edition, and saying, because Necrons have now lost their starter set, you know, the start collecting set, are these the best way to get into Necrons? But then it led to, well, they get a Royal Warden in the Recruit edition, and that model doesn't actually exist in Kill Team yet. And they get Skorpekh Destroyers in the Elite edition, and those models don't exist yet. So I had to go and look at the datasheet and say, well, can I make an educated guess about what will happen if this model comes over to Kill Team, and try and guide you that way? And then I decided, no, that's crazy. I don't, you know, yes, this is YouTube, yes, clickbait gets views and stuff, and I could have put that out, but I didn't want to, because it's just, you know, what's the point? You know, what's the point? I'd rather just look at the datasheet, and maybe we could decide together. By the end of the video, I will give you a few points costs that I think would be relevant for the new models coming into Kill Team, if that happens, and whether or not they actually deserve to be in Kill Team. But before we dive in, let's give a quick double hello. Now, what's a double hello? Well, the double hello goes out purely to my subscribers. So if you're a subscriber, it's a big double hello. Thank you very much. And that's it. If you want a double hello in the next video, subscribe now and you get a double hello. What is a double hello? I don't know. Okay, let's look at Necrons. First things first, I want to look at a regular Necron warrior. Now, in 9th edition, they are 13 points, they're 1 point more. However, the swap of the gun is free. The question becomes, would you want to use the Gorse Flare or the Gorse Reaper? Great. I love this addition to Necron warriors. This would be brilliant. Now, that Gorse Reaper looks like a very strong gun, strength 5, AP -2, but because it's only 12 inches, assault 2 as well, you think, okay, well, the assault means I can advance, but then I'm almost always going to be hitting on 4s at best, because it's only 12 inches, so they'll either be long distance or obscured. That's a really interesting choice. I love this addition. Great. That might be the only, like, outright positive thing I'm going to say about these guys here. Either way, this is good. I like this edition. Let's have a look at Immortals. Now, Immortals have stayed much the same. In 40k, they are now 17 points, but if you give them a Tesla, they're 19 points. They're the same. The only difference they have now is they have an extra attack in melee. Very interestingly, what does this mean for them in Kill Team? Would they simply give them an extra attack? Because I do believe if one of the factions is getting an update, they will move them to the new datasheet, right? I mean, that's just what they have to do. And are they going to keep them 15 points as they are currently in Kill Team and just give them an extra attack? Okay, that's fine. Or are they going to bump them up to 17 or 19 and say, okay, hey, now 2 attacks as well? That would completely change any sort of immortal build that we can currently do in Kill Team. But let's look at a few of the other ones. Lich Guard. So this is something... Oh, sorry. Also, Immortals are now T5. That's a huge thing. I forgot to mention. Yeah. Anyway, Lich Guard. They're basically the same. They just get 1 extra attack That seems to be what happens. Everything apart from warriors and flayed ones in Necrons get 1 extra attack. So that's are you going to be charging an immortal into close combat? No. But if you get there, actually, as we know from Primaris Marines who get their 2 attacks base, as over the newborn, over the old Marines, the mini Marines, 2 attacks is really very effective in close combat, even if you don't have AP. Lich-Guard get an extra attack, that's really strong. Lich-Guard are already really good. Moving on very briefly to the Praetorians. This, if they get this, this is huge. So again, they get the extra attack. But their Rod of the Covenant becomes D2. Game changer. Suddenly, people are taking these. Like, if they remain the same points, they would become viable. As it is in Kill Team, you don't see Praetorians, but if you saw them now, that 2 damage is massive. They would become, you'd start seeing them in lists. You'd start seeing them over Lich-Guard, I reckon. So that would be good. And the reason I think that's a good change would, again, just because you'd actually see them. Yeah, that's kind of it. But they would then become straight up just better than a Lich-Guard with War Scythe. So you'd really have the choice of Lich-Guard with Dispersion Shield for that invuln, or Praetorians, because they get 10-inch fly, which is huge. Now let's take a look at death marks as well, because this is a huge change. They've changed the Synaptic Disintegrator. Oh, they've also put them to T5, same as the Immortal Chassis, that's fine. But moving them up from a rapid fire 24-inch, okay, so the Synaptic Disintegrator, if you don't know, is currently in Kill Team, is 24-inch, rapid fire 1, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. With the same ability, ignore long... Oh, does it ignore? Yeah, ignores long range and a mortal wound on a 6. On a wound roll of a 6. 2 changes to the death marks. First thing is the gun. Is now range 36, heavy 1, strength 5, AP minus 2, damage 1. The damage 1 hurts it, obviously. But fine. You know, I'll take it. It's still better than what it was. It's really that strength 5 and the AP 2 that, like, that's really strong. But they've also made them ballistic skill 2. That's big. So if they remained, again, this would become a viable model in my opinion. If they just said, hey, same points cost, 15 points, you now have ballistic skill 2 and this Synaptic Disintegrator instead of the current one, I'd consider it. There is definitely some play with that weapon, whereas currently, even though until they redid the eliminators for Space Marines there, Deathmarks were the best sniper in the game because they had the rapid fire 1, so it could fire 2 shots, making them the best sniper in the game. You still never saw them because they just weren't good, unfortunately, but this is good. Would I take it? I don't know. I'd have to really sit down and figure out a build, but on a more casual level, you could run one of these and not be gimping yourself. That's actually really big. And making things casually good for the casual crowd in Kill Team, I think, is a really good thing. There shouldn't be a bad pick. But let's talk flayed ones. Because damn. So their stat line hasn't changed. They're still hitting on 3s, 3 attacks. Cool. The big change for them is their claws will become AP minus 1. Which is crazy. Like, that's really strong. Flayed ones are already amazing. Flayed ones are, you know, this Necron Flayed one spam list is not just easy to run because basically they're all the same model, so it's a very low cognitive load army, or list. They're really effective. But to give them AP minus 1 on top of their already effectiveness, very scary. I think they would have to get a points increase if this change goes through. They would also then probably also get the this aura that they have, terrifying foes. So in 40k this doesn't interest me too much. However, -2 leadership as an aura to your most numerable unit. Soon as you get a flesh wound on somebody, because your claws are still only damage 1, pop that. you're getting real close to guaranteeing they break or they shake, you know, and that's -2 to leadership. That doesn't exist anywhere else in Kill Team. Everything's -1 so far. So you'd have to stack other auras and effects to get the -2, but still very hard to get. So that's, and this is an aura, it's not one model. It's like, I don't know. That's a terrifying model. They're already really good. To give them AP -1 at 10 points. This would, if they get this at 10 points and get the AP -1, I will probably say the Flayed one is officially the strongest, best model in the game. But okay, let's go back and look at the Royal Warden. Now, obviously, we don't know we're getting the Royal Warden in the game, but we probably are. So let's look at what it actually does. To be honest, this is just kind of a buffed up Immortal, which is perfect, because if we look at the model, he's here, he is just an Immortal. So, for example, if you wanted to play Necrons, my official response to the should you buy the Recruit Edition was going to be yes, because you get a cheaper box of Necron Warriors than just buying the Necron Warrior box. You also get the Royal Warden with your Necrons, who can just be played as an Immortal, even if he never gets a datasheet. That right there is an Immortal. Boom, job done. He's a cool looking Immortal. But you also get the Space Marine side, which you can throw away. Or like cut the bodies in half, use them as destroyed models, I don't know, whatever, because that's all they're good for. Bloody Marines. Now I envision this guy coming over and being a little bit of a in between the Cryptek and the Overlord, points wise, and he would kind of fill the role of long range commander for the Necrons. I think he'd be super strong. Yeah, just because of his Relic Gorse Blaster. He doesn't need to do anything else, really. He could just sit at the back, so he's holding an objective. He's going to be a strategist, giving you that extra CP. That Gorse Blaster, Rapid Fire 2, 30-inch range, Strength 5, AP -2, Damage 2. That's 4 shots a turn, basically, because you've got a 15-inch range. You're quad tapping anything that comes near you. That's really good. Like, he would be very strong. I envision him being about 65, 70 points. This is the Skorpekh Lord. Now, the Skorpekh Lord doesn't come in the Recruit or the Elite boxes, but he does come in Indomitus. He's actually in this pile of Necron grey plastic behind me here, because I bought Indomitus. But I'm not going to go over him. But feel free to have a look, just because maybe we are getting the Indomitus box added to Kill Team, not just the Recruit or Elite Edition. This is what he could do. If he were to come over to Kill Team, so I don't think he fits in Kill Team. I think he's too much. But if he comes over, I suspect he's going to be placed at around the 130 points cost. Very similar to a Broodlord or a Tech Lord Magos. And he's kind of the model that's too expensive to be good, but you can technically run him. I've put Scarabs in here because, of course, you do get Scarabs in the Necron Warrior box, but you already get them in the Necron Warrior box, so I don't see them being added now. It doesn't really make sense. But here are the stats if you want to see them. I don't think they're going to magically turn up. Now, the Plasma site, feel free to have a read of his data sheets there, his rules. He's a one-off. I could see it being... He comes on the Skorpekh Destroyer sprue, so there's no reason to not include him if you include the Destroyers. I'm not he's not like great at anything. If he comes in under 10 points, so under the so he becomes the cheapest model for Necrons, then okay, maybe you just sit him at the back of the board. I don't know. I don't think he needs to be added. Because if you're going to make him 10 points, then it's like, well, I might as well take a warrior who can actually shoot. Although warriors are 12 points. I'm talking about flayed ones, aren't I? So this guy would probably replace a flayed one on your list, but you'd only use him to use all of these buffing abilities on your Skorpekh Destroyer. Is he worth replacing a flayed one for? Or even a warrior at 12 points? Who knows? Who knows? I haven't gone through all the maths. But I would say no. Anyway, So let's look at the Skorpekh Destroyer, because this is, of course, is the other one who does indeed come in the Elite Edition of the box. Does this power level have a place in Kill Team? So, you know, have a read, continue, you know, go for it, have a read. In 40k, he's 35 points, and it doesn't matter which weapon you take. They're both 0 points, so he's 35 points. Don't hinge on that too much, because there are wildly different points costs between Kill Team and 40k. Even within the new edition of 9th and the old edition, they've always had their own system. They do modify the points costs to fit in with the smaller game. So don't assume this will be a 35 point model. I suspect it would go up. I'm not going to make some guess that... well, I don't know. Screw it. Yeah, I think that this will be in the game. I think it's a very strong model, but I think it could have a place in Kill Team. It's on a 60mm base, but that's fine. The Tau Commander is also on a 60mm, and that's a legal unit. The way I envision this model being used is probably around the 42 point mark, and it's basically your Terminator level model. It will have a point being in your list somewhere, but in your roster somewhere, but it's not an every game kind of model. They are great models, but the fact that it's 3 wounds is big, T5 is big, but no invuln means that it could be taken off with some pretty hard plasma. But then if they don't have plasma, you're going to be able to just kind of power through them with your little guys instead. Okay, now to kind of wrap the video up, I just wanted to say there are so many things in there that if they just update Marines and Necrons, and, you know, just say, okay, this is now the Flayed one, with his AP -1, and Fear Aura, he still costs 10 points, it would throw Kill Team wildly out of balance. Like, insanely. Just for these two factions. Well, at least just for Necrons, I assume the same would happen for Marines, and that would just be really bad. So I'm starting to think I regret my original decision of saying that this won't be Kill Team 2.0. Maybe they are actually going to redo all of the data sheets. Or maybe they're just going to redo the points costs alongside the new data sheets for Indomitors. I don't know. Like, but if they just do a straight points cross of, you know, Immortals are now T5 with 2 attacks. Hell, if they just do Praetorians with their D2 particle casters, no, Rod of the Covenant. Necrons are going to be crazy. You won't not see them on the table. It's going to be nuts. Yeah, Necrons will come off really, really well of this if they don't touch their points costs. Even if they don't add Skorpekh Destroyers, forget that, who cares? You can just run Flayed ones and they will be nuts. You can just put in your Praetorian and go crazy. I'm not going to be coming up with any sort of like predictive, oh, this would be good for Kill Team or bad for Kill Team, because we don't know what the new thing for Kill Team is yet. I'm going to say, I'm cautiously optimistic. For all the crap we give GW, they have handled the game of Kill Team relatively competently and well. They haven't communicated about it well. They're terrible in that regard, but the game itself, the way they've given us rules, hasn't been bad. So, being totally objective, I see no reason why that should change now. We should still get this closed environment game, and if they do update the rules heavily, cautious optimism, I'm going to say that they are going to give us a continued fair and balanced game, because yes, I do believe that Kill Team is one of their most balanced games. They've done a great job on it because of the way they've released the rules, because they knew it was going to be closed right from the beginning. They could do that, so, you know, props to them where it's due. as long as they don't let their terrible release cycles ruin this game, I'm really optimistic for what they might do with it. But anyway, this has been Glass Half Dead. Drop me a comment. What do you think about all of these Necron datasheets? Perhaps you haven't seen them before. Perhaps you're looking at that Royal Warden and thinking, okay, you know what? Actually, that Relic Gorse Blaster, I can see that having some serious play. I'm interested in Commanders because all I have to do is buy this box and it's a full Commanders kill team with some really interesting synergies. Maybe you're looking at the Death Marks. Suddenly, a full Death Mark kill squad is legit. You can do that. Maybe you now want to just run Flayed Ones spam. I don't know. But more importantly, the Skorpekh Destroyers. What do you think of them? Do you think they're coming into kill team? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? What do you think about... Maybe you're not, maybe you're not fully at that thought level on it yet. But I mentioned the points costs for the Royal Warden and the Skorpekh Lord. If they come over, what do you think? Do you think I undercosted them? Overcosted them? Let me know. Anyway, this has been Glass Half Dead. Cautiously optimistic for the future of Kill Team. Terrified of Necrons. And obviously, this is the point it happens, guys. A triple hello. I know you were waiting for it. I was waiting to give it. Anyway, this has been Glass Half Dead. I hope you have a good day. I hope you continue to have a good day. Goodbye.